So, welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily MCQ Practice. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs through a set of 4 to 5 MCQs. You see, current affairs form a very important portion of your prelims examination. Around 40 to 50% of the questions asked in your prelims examination are directly or indirectly related to current affairs. Therefore, you cannot choose to ignore this portion. Now, the best way to prepare for current affairs for your prelims examination is by getting the much needed MCQ practice. Because if you'll follow this lecture series regularly and consistently, 4 to 5 MCQs covered on a daily basis would add up to more than 1200 MCQs. 1200 MCQs from the topic of current affairs alone. So, needless to say this, make this lecture series a part of your daily routine, and then you won't have to worry about your current affairs portion while appearing your prelims examination. Okay? Alright then. Let's begin today's session starting with question number 1. As per the revised criteria of MSME classification, consider the following statements. Micro enterprises are those enterprises whose annual turnover is up to 2.5 crores. Small enterprises are those whose maximum limit for investment in plant and machinery is 5 crore. This revised criteria shall be applicable from April 1st, 2025. Okay, so look, micro enterprises, small enterprises, and medium enterprises collectively are known as MSME sector, and this is a crucial sector for India's economy. Now, Government of India had a specific criteria to classify industries into micro category, small category, and medium category. This criteria was based on two things. Okay, number one is investment in plant and machinery, and the other is annual turnover. Okay, now recently Government of India has decided to change this criteria. Okay, basically revise the criteria, revise the thresholds. Okay, now, as per the revised criteria, micro enterprises are those enterprises whose annual turnover is up to 2.5 crore. No, it's up to 5 crore. Small enterprises are those whose maximum limit for investment in plant and machinery is 5 crore. No, 10 crore. And plus, you can look at all the changes made. What was the previous criteria? What is the new criteria? Okay, as per Ministry of MSME in your notes. So I've given all the details with respect to this changed criteria, the previous criteria and the new criteria in your notes. So just take a look at that and you will find out that both these statements are incorrect. But yes, this new criteria shall be applicable from April 1st, 2025. This part is correct. So only one statement is correct. The answer is A. Question 2. Consider the following statements regarding anti-dumping duties. These are imposed on imported goods in order to compensate for the difference between their export price and normal value. In India, anti-dumping probes are conducted by Director General of Foreign Trade. Application of these duties are a violation of WTO's principle of fair trade. Okay, so what are anti-dumping duties? Look, India imports a lot of goods from all the countries. Okay, now India also imports from China, but Chinese imports have a peculiar quality. The thing is, China prices its product so low that Indian manufacturers are not able to compete with them in India. Okay, their price is so low. So to compensate for that, government levies a tax, import duty, which is known as anti-dumping duty, so that their price in India rises up, so that Indian manufacturers can compete with them. Okay, so these are imposed on imported goods, absolutely correct, in order to compensate for the difference between their export price and normal value, which Indian manufacturers sell at. So this part is correct. Now, the thing is that you cannot levy anti-dumping duty without conducting fair investigation. Okay. Now, this investigation in India is done by Director General of Trade Remedies, which is under Commerce Ministry. Okay, so this part is false. Now, levying anti-dumping duty is permissible under WTO. In fact, as per Article 6 of General Agreement on Trade and Tariffs, which is part of WTO, allows for these remedial measures like anti-dumping duties. Okay, so this part is also false. Only one is correct. The answer is A. Question 3. Which of the following statements are correct regarding Form 17C used during elections? A document filed at every polling station under Conduct of Election Rules, 1961. Mandatory for Election Commission to publish this form on its public website. Part 1 of this form contains booth-wise data on the votes recorded and is filed by presiding officer. Part 2 of this form contains booth-wise data on results of the counting filed by returning officer. Okay. So the thing is, whenever elections are conducted at every booth level, during the elections, during the polling day, there is this presiding officer. Okay. Now, this presiding officer oversees the entire election process at that booth. Now, after the polling, this presiding officer has to fill part 1 of Form 17C. In that, he will file all the details with respect to the votes polled. How many EVMs were there, how many votes were polled per EVM, all of this data would be given, okay, filed. Then, on the day of counting, a returning officer is stationed at every booth. And after the counting is done, this returning officer will file part 2 of Form 17C, in which all the results, counting results, votes to each and every political party would be filed. Okay, and this part 1 and part 2 combined is known as Form 17C, which gives us the booth level data, booth wise data, polling station wise data of every vote and votes polled. Okay, so this thing is mandatory as per Conduct of Election Rules 1961. Now the thing is, as per Conduct of Election Rules 1961, Election Commission has to basically share the results of this Form 17C with polling agents of each and every political party, basically recognized and registered political parties. But it is not a legal obligation of Election Commission to share the details of this form publicly on its website. This is not a legal obligation. Only they have to only share it with the polling agents of political parties and not share it in public. Okay, so this part is false, and part 1 and part 2 statement 3 and statement 4 are correct. Okay, so the answer is 1, 3 and 4, C. Question 4. Which of the following statements are correct regarding secret sittings of Parliament? Article 118 of the Constitution allows the Parliament to frame its own rules regarding secret meetings. The provisions for holding secret sittings are embedded in Chapter 25 of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business in Lok Sabha. Unauthorized disclosure regarding secret sittings is considered a breach of privilege. Okay. Now, as you all know that when Parliament is in session, the entire proceedings of the Parliament are live broadcasted on Sansad TV. Right? And all the proceedings of the Parliament and all the action taken during the parliamentary session, whether it's Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, everything, every information is available on the website of government. Okay. The thing is that our constitution also allows for Parliament to sit in secret if it wants to discuss some issues which cannot be made public. Article 118 clearly says that if Parliament wants to sit in secret, then the rules regarding these secret sittings shall be framed by Parliament itself. So this part is correct. Now, Lok Sabha has framed those rules, and the rules are called Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business in Lok Sabha, and Chapter 25 of these rules is dedicated to secret sittings. So this part is correct. Okay. Now, under these rules, it is mentioned that if anyone reports or discloses the information discussed in these secret sittings without the permission of the speaker, if it is disclosed to the public, then that would be considered breach of privilege of the House, and the House can punish that person. Generally, media personnel are allowed to disclose whatever is discussed in the Parliament, okay, and no one would hold them accountable. But if they are disclosing information related to secret sittings, not normal, secret, then they can be held accountable and punished. So this part is also correct. All statements are correct. The answer is D. And last but definitely not the least, consider the following statements regarding Challenger 150 initiative. Challenger 150 program is part of UN Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development. The initiative aligns with Global Sustainable Development Goals SDG 14, life below water. Which of the above statements are correct? Okay. So the thing is that United Nations and the world knows that we need to know more about oceans and we need to preserve and conserve oceans. Therefore, United Nations launched UN Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development. Under this, all the researchers of the world, all the people of the world, researchers, scientists, they would collaborate to know more, to explore more about deep oceans, and to find solutions for its conservation. Okay. Now, under this program, UNESCO launched Challenger 150 initiative. Okay, under which deep sea exploration would be done by international scientists and measures to conserve nature inside the oceans would be done. Okay, so first part is correct. Now, this initiative aligns with sustainable development goals. As you know, that the United Nations has set itself or has given 17 sustainable development goals to all the countries, all the members of United Nations, and the period for these goals is 2015 to 2030. So all countries have to achieve these 17 sustainable development goals by 2030. Now, goal number 14 is life below water. So yes, this initiative fulfills this goal. So this part is also correct. Both statements are correct and the answer is C. And with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I'm sure it has added value to your preparation. But it would add more value if you revise this lecture as well. And by revision, I mean spending another 5 to 10 minutes taking a look at written detailed solutions to each and every MCQ discussed above. Now, you can find these solutions in our notes, and these notes are shared on our Telegram channel. Where can you find our Telegram channel? Well, just below this video in the comment section, you'll find a link. Okay, just click on that link. It'll take you to our Telegram channel, and from there you can download the notes and do the necessary revision. And on that note, I'll be signing off with the promise of seeing you again with another set of MCQs. Thank you, everyone.